We're going to open it up to questions because the audience wants to.
Great timing.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
How's that? Yes, right here.
My question is, my friends, nobody's undecided, but apparently there's still a contingent of undecided voters. Mm-hmm. What are they undecided about? I don't get it.
What do you think, Paul?
I think they're uninformed. I think there are a lot of people who aren't paying attention yet, who don't talk about politics, and I think there are a lot of folks who aren't going to come online to start paying attention until the conventions. And there are some people who aren't sure about Obama yet. There are some people who think McCain's too old, and it breaks down to very simple things like that for a lot of people. I mean, we eat, drink, and breathe this every day, but yeah. I think a lot of other folks are trying to make a buck or feed their family, and they don't spend a lot of time on politics.
I think Obama seems new, and McCain seems familiar. And yet McCain seems like he has old bad ideas, and Obama seems like he has good new ideas, but new is scary. I mean, I think that this boils down to very sort of guttural stuff, even for people who are sort of high information voters, people who have a lot of information. Ultimately, what it may come down to is whether or not you like the idea of something new or whether you want the guy who's been running for president since Lincoln.
And didn't get the nomination then.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing I always wonder about McCain. Like, you just wonder, somebody who's been in politics that long, who has been running since 1984, who has never gotten a nod from the party, and was never thrown into a vice presidential mix. Why the f do you want him to be the leader now? Like, if I was a Republican, I'd be like, well, this seems like a big ripoff. This uninspiring old coot that the party has rejected for 25 years.
But that's the way.
It was either that or Huckabee. I mean, it wasn't like they had a great cast to pick from.
I mean, the Republicans ran Bob Dole too. Yeah. Again, not because he hadn't occurred to them before, but because it was his time. He'd done it enough times that it was time for him to get
His penis didn't work.
His seniority, Republicans sometimes choose based on seniority.
Yeah.
But so do Democrats. I mean, there was a lot to John Kerry's, selection that had to do with he had, kissed the ring for long enough and paid his dues. So.
But John Kerry was kind of the exception, though, I think. I think that John Kerry...
He was an exception, all right. Yeah.
You were not a fan of the Kerry.
I wasn't that much either, Paul.
Obama's learned some key lessons from him, though. I mean, he's got a rapid response squad that's trying to get in front of these rumors. I mean, now...
He's got a website. How sad is that, though?
But there's
another... have a website that just says, I'm not a scumbag.
But you know what? They are pushing back. Everybody knows about the Muslim rumor, right? That Obama's a Muslim. Well, after Obama went to Iraq, there was an unnamed captain who sent an email around saying Obama snubbed the troops. I got it 5 times within an hour. And this started just going around. You'll hear about it if it's not in the news already. There was a few folks that had to debunk it, but they're trying to get in front of scurrilous rumors like that. So you got one unnamed captain who said Obama, snubbed me to go play basketball because there weren't cameras there, and it gets passed around to millions of people within a couple hours. So, they're dealing with an entirely new media dynamic, and they are trying to get in front of it in a way that John Kerry didn't.
But I think what really should have been the lesson from the Swift boat things, though? I mean, like, do you get out and say, no, I didn't actually do all these horrible things, I'm not actually a traitor the way you say I am, or do you come out and say, Swift boat veterans, who are these guys? And why are they doing this? And who's funding them? And how are they getting away with it? And the fact that they're doing it, is the scandal. I mean...
But Kerry did neither of those things. I mean, Kerry didn't stand up and say, this is wrong, it's bullshit. He kind of said, let's see if it goes away. Yeah. And by the time he started to take it on, it had already grown,
But I think Obama is doing an okay job saying, now, those things about me aren't true, which is good. You rebut them. But the thing to do, the way you make it an asset, the way you change the political momentum is by saying, you know what, John McCain has an ad out today which says that I didn't go visit wounded troops because...
With video of him visiting wounded troops in the ad.
In the ad.
By the way.
And it says that the Pentagon wouldn't let me bring cameras, and that's why I didn't go. You know what, John McCain? This is dishonorable that you have done this. You are lying. You are running attack ads that are lies. And this is a problem in your campaign, and you need to explain why you're doing this. You don't rebut the issue. I mean, maybe you rebut the issue too, but there ought to be a price paid for doing wrong, whether it's a Swift boat campaign or McCain running an ad that has
lies.
That's exactly right. And Rachel.
Yeah. Or the Hillary Clinton campaign. Yeah, I think she paid a price for those types of attacks on Obama.
Yeah.
But I think...
I don't know if he says he's not a Muslim, I believe him.
Yeah.
Shit like that came back to get her.
Yeah.
I think it really did.
And I think what I feel so frustrated about the media about is the media loves to be given a narrative because they're lazy. I can't stop enough about how much I get so angry. So when Obama gives a narrative that says, John McCain, you're dishonest, why are you putting this out there? That gives a journalist, it gives the press pool, it gives people who go out to see him the question to ask. Somebody will pick that up. Barack Obama says you're being dishonest and that you're putting this ad out there. Why are you doing this? Is that true? It puts McCain on the defensive. And that's the part I don't understand. When a candidate can make it easy for the press and also then promote their own agenda for how they want the narrative to go, the fact they don't do it is like,
it's because there's a tripwire in that circuit as you were describing. That's how it ought to work, but there's a problem. There's a place where the circuit doesn't complete, and that is that if you can get a reporter in an unguarded moment to talk about which of their stories hit and which of their stories don't, which of their headlines get clicked on and which of them don't, what gets ratings and what doesn't, they will say, if I mention John McCain, nobody reads my story. Mm-hmm. John McCain is too uninteresting to maintain anybody's interest even when you are attacking him. The only way that John McCain can get coverage in this campaign is by talking about Barack Obama. Yeah. And so there's all of this incredibly juicy, scandalous, salacious stuff going on in the McCain campaign. And it's literally, I believe that they are not getting covered because people don't care enough about him to hate him. Even just like this lying ad about Obama wouldn't visit the troops. What? That's actually a gold campaign story if we could summon the energy to talk about it, even though it's about John McCain. Right. That's the problem.
Okay, so I want to ask one question too, and then, is that anytime we're in an election season, it feels like really big stories are happening that we need to be looking into ourselves and we need to be looking at. And I was hoping that both of you could say, even though you're inundated with all of this campaign stuff, and please pay attention to that, what are some other things that we need to be looking at and where should we be looking at them, stories that are important to us but we're not hearing about?
Want me to go first?
Yeah, you do this for a living. Go ahead. You have the underbelly.
I think that while we were paying attention to the campaign, the Cold War started again. Yeah. So that's been awkward. Yeah.
Especially when you're fighting a war.
I know.
Then there's a Cold War.
So the Soviet Union doesn't exist anymore. We always used to call them Russia. Now it's easy. Now we can just call them Russia. It really is Russia. But they're very pissed about this whole missile defense thing. So Poland, which used to be run by those evil child actor twins.
Yes.
They were like, sure, we'd love to have your missile defense batteries. And Russia was like, what the f***? You can't do that. We'll be super mad, just like we were a long time ago. Remember, Poland? And the Czech Republic is happy to take these missile defense batteries or whatever. I mean, the way that Russia has responded to that with the Czech Republic decision a couple weeks ago to take on this missile defense stuff for us.
Tell people who, like, everyone's sitting here going, I wish I knew what she was talking about. Let's be honest, right? How many people I wish I knew? So give a little just background quickly.
Missile defense is like, we'll put it, like we used to talk about it, we'll put a giant cake topper over the country and protect it magically from missiles with this system that doesn't work but costs billions.
And the cake topper is made of spun sugar.
Yes, so when it rains, it all... It's an ineffectual fantasy missile protection system that doesn't work. And Russia,
really cheap too.
Russia doesn't want it. And we've been pursuing it. We used to make fun of Reagan for pursuing it, but post-Reagan, it's become a normal thing that's not controversial anymore, even though it still wouldn't work. And when the Czech Republic agreed that they were going to put stuff for the missile defense system in their country, Russia responded by saying, first, we will respond technologically and with our military if you do this. Respond with our military. That's like touch you with genitals. That's like, and then they retaliated in terms of energy supplies. And then their third element of retaliation is they said, and this happened last week, and it was like flatline, didn't surface anywhere. Russia said, we will send Russian bombers capable of carrying nuclear weapons to Cuba. If you proceed with this. And we're like, what did Barack Obama say about McCain today? Russia, Cuba, remember?